Hello, welcome, tarot curious and tarot lovers. We are here to meet up with one of my favorite cards in the tarot deck. And here comes the Fool on his journey. And for some reason, he is running into the Justice card. Yeah, justice is pretty serious, isn't it? But I tell you what, justice has a sweet side, and I really want you to connect to that sweet side of justice, because without it, we would have chaos. Here you go. Let's look at justice. Justice is actually full of the Libra element. So Libra energy is about balance. Libra energy is about seeing a clear vision and understanding the full picture. Blinders off. Look at everything. Both sides to a story, or all sides of the story, if there are many. And the energy is intense, but very beneficial, and very beneficial for spiritual growth, as you will learn. This card is connected to congenial relationships, partnerships, great communication, solid connections between people. And like Libra, justice is ruled by the love planet, Venus. And it's associated with marriage and intimate relationships of various kinds. So it covers a lot of territory as far as connectivity of people and community goes. But there is the balance part and the structure part that's beneficial for making any relationship work. The symbol of the pillars in this card are important. Law, balance, and structure. It forms something for the justice to be contained in. The right hand is symbolic of logic, and the sword is an air sign symbol full of air energy, just like Libra is an air sign. And so there's a lot of communication, logic, reasoning, intellect, and interest in individuals and how they interact and their stories and lives. So there's a lot of communication happening here about functionality in communication. The double-edged sword acts as something that could cut both ways. So something might be wrong, but something might be right, but not all the way right. So it's kind of a tricky situation sometimes, because there are times where justice is this is wrong and this is right, but other times where this part of it is right, but this other part is wrong. So it's very, segmented. In the left hand, remember, is symbolic of intuition. So different from right hand. It holds measuring scales and weighing the evidence impartially. Realizing that there's often truth and a certain measure coming from two or more sides. So a true Libra energy spends much time weighing back and forth while considering all options. My rising sign is Libra. I totally identify with this. I spend so much time weighing options and measuring when or what I should do and at what point. I spend a lot of time making sure I'm jumping through the hoops the right way. It's a big process up here and in my heart. So the human figure holding the sword and scales wears a crown of authority. So you have to give authority to justice or it's not meaningful. And it has a square gem in the center, which is a symbol of well-ordered logic, kind of like the pillars in a way. Learning to apply wisdom while promoting truth and justice are keys to learning how to get along in life. Journal prompt. What aspects of justice do you take note of or find value in? What do you like about living with an awareness of justice? How do you feel justice could be improved? Do you feel you act in accordance with your higher self for the greater good of others? Often we feel uncomfortable with ourselves when we sense we've not measured up to our inner sense of justice. We all carry a story of our values within us. And if we act in discord with what we're believing inside, it creates stress. And also, stress can cause us to do things that are against what we believe. Fear, bruised ego, anxiety, or depression may all lead to us acting contrary to what we believe is right, and we may take actions we feel are wrong. Justice card acknowledges we are not always acting in accordance to our higher self, and thus we are feeling discordant and need to work to align ourselves by healing that drift. There is a huge wash of compassion coming from the Justice card. If you have regrets, you will be treated fairly. This card reminds you to take responsibility for your actions. Journal prompt. Recall a time when you accepted responsibility and rose to encompass your higher self, moving forward more fully aligned with your true nature, and journal about that. This card might also come up in a reading about choices that will have long-term effects on your life and the lives of those around you. It asks you to stop and consider all sides to the action you are contemplating, because you may want to explore more deeply how this will affect your spiritual life as well as your earthly existence. You will be held accountable for your choices, so learn to defend your choices with reason and logic. If you have trouble defending your choices, you need to study the aspects of your choices until you have discovered the integrity behind what is moving you in that direction. You will feel it is right when you have discovered that, and it will feel peaceful and grounding. Journal prompt. In what situation are you most tempted to stick with your values without examining them? And in what situation are you more likely to examine your values and really search for what seems fair, equitable, truthful about your stance? When you make your own Justice card, consider the elements we've discussed, but also consider who you want to use to represent justice if you choose a human figure in your card design. The Kabbalah influence expressed in this card is wisdom. And the royal figure is supposed to represent a combination of King Solomon and 10 aspects of women wisdom in the Kabbalah. And that group of women wisdom is called Sephirot, Sefirot. and it's spelled different ways, but that's the spelling I found most often. Also, it can represent the Egyptian goddess Maat, M-A''A''T, and she's the one who balanced on the scale pure hearts next to that of a feather to allow passage to the afterlife. Or oftentimes the Greek goddess of justice, Themis, who also served as one of the oracles of Delphi, offering visions of the truth. So the image can read as male or female, or both, or neither gender. This card is called the Faithful Intelligence by Waite, who was designing this card back in 1902. He sees it as having spiritual virtues. Justice, unhampered by the temptations or prejudices, is instead ruled by clear sight, and sight that looks into the souls for the truth. Ethical or moral issues are evoked when this card comes up in readings. Justice asks you to consider your role in any situation and assess your conduct as well as the conduct of those around you while you're in quiet contemplation. Dealing with your feelings about it, avoid becoming a martyr and avoid becoming angry with vengeance. If you find you are at fault, know that owning up to your part in whatever matter will help you grow past your own blocks to your soul's path. When you have been abused, justice asks you to take empowerment. And if you can't correct what was done against you, to stand up on behalf of others who have oppressors. Work for peace and justice in your sphere of influence when this card comes up for you. As you can see, this card is very spiritual, very right-minded thinking as far as finding truth and getting to the heart of the matter. It is a card that is global about life. And I'm thinking that right now we need to just calm ourselves and think about everything that we've covered in this card. Let's close our eyes and take a moment now to sit quietly in a chair and feel the weight of your body as you plant your feet on the floor. Take some long, slow cleansing breaths. Pull in the energy of justice and feel the energy of mindful thought and wise action. A desire to experience fairness, good relationships, and well thought out choices. Awakening those thoughts and feelings in your spirit, mind, and body. And breathing out what no longer serves you. After some cleansing breaths, just sit and thank yourself for this practice of connecting to justice and following the Fool on his journey. As you quietly come back into your awareness, consider the expansion these tarot cards are providing as you connect with your own empowering life story. My goal is to demystify the tarot, connect you to your own life story in an impactful way, and allow you room to create your own tarot images that will mean deeply for you. I can't wait for the next time we meet, when the Fool will be meeting the Hanged One or the Hanged Man, card 12 of the Major Arcana. Until then, have fun creating and connecting to these cards. On behalf of Justice, my little soul brother here, or soul sister, and the Fool, the same, soul brother, sister, or them, or they, sending blessings and namaste.